Hello, hello, and welcome to Awaken Your Human Design. My name is Moni. This is Danny. We got some transits for you this week, so thanks for hanging out with us and liking and sharing and subscribing. It really helps us, and let's get into it, Danny.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. This is the infamous Gate 55, so we're going to talk about how abundance is a matter of spirit today.
Ooh, that'll be good. So here we have our mandala view. We have the sun in gate 55, which is abundance, and it's a solar plexus gate, and the earth in gate 59, which is dispersion, and it's a sacral gate.
Yeah, it's interesting that, again, the movement is another emotional gate, solar plex gate, with another sacral
Oh,
gate.
yeah,
They're
from
almost
last
moving
week.
in sequence, like one's moving this way and the other's moving that way. The
Oh, yeah.
never mixing, never stops mixing it up. Yep. I can't wait to talk about these two because, I mean, 59 is just as powerful as 55 in its own way. So,
Yeah, these are some big ones. So,
big,
all right.
big.
Uh-huh. So here we have the sun in gate 55, which is abundance or the gate of spirit. And this states that abundance is strictly a question of spirit. Gate 55 is an emotional solar plexus gate. It is part of individual circuitry. So, individual circuitry, the keynote is empowerment, and it's specifically part of the knowing circuit. Gate 55 links up with gate 39, which is provocation, and gate 39-55 make up the channel of emoting. And gate 55 states that the awareness of spirit is not a concept, which is an ajna thing, or an instinct, which would be a splenic. It's an emotional, it's solar plexus, right? So abundance is a function of spirit and how you perceive what you are feeling and the mood you're experiencing in the moment. It's susceptible to melancholic chemistry of the emotional wave, the wave of hope and pain.
Yeah, and so 55 has arguably the hardest time with this wave technically because low in its wave, it can't tell why the mutative individual process doesn't show up with reasons.
Mm,
None. It just shows up with the pain of the emptiness. And it's a long mental process later to get to an actual reason that you're about to now torture yourself with. And in that whole time, the spirit is low. So picture a low spirit searching for the reason and ending up purposeless in all of that. That's what 55 goes down into. It's also part of lots of eating disorders, this whole
mhm.
channel itself. And the emoting is, just think of what the word emoting means. It means something on the other side is trying to sort of provoke it and in a way, tease it and try and find out what that spirit is. And then the spirit itself is being fickle and it doesn't know why. And one day the cup is half full, next day the cup is half empty, same cup,
Mhm.
no difference. So it doesn't make any sense. Yet, when it comes to clarity over time, for some reason in our human condition, this thing gives us the most, I can't say the most, but it gives us amongst the most profound clarity. That's the thing. The deepness of the fickle finally empowered, now out of its melancholy, empowering the other in this whole stream of awareness has everything to do with passion and romance and closeness with the one individual other designed to be a manifesting dealio. This manifests our human spirit. And it's obviously part of the change that's coming. We can't even get into that now, but it is part of the mutation in 2027. So 55's got a lot of juice. It goes up and down in the spike process. It's supposed to do that. 55s don't even know they go up and down sometimes because it's just such a like a planing along process, but they know their spirit is a matter of abundance and they can't tell why that is. It connects these people deeply into what it is. And it's also going to show up. We're going to have high and low spirit this week. And the type, dude, spirit goes too low, the spirit goes too high, and you can't tell where it's supposed to lead. It's just going to come crashing down. It's got no reason is the thing. And it's just here to empower our awareness that leads to what's worth doing, what's worth being, and who's worth it to be with. This deeply wants to be with, find its passion, and it will rest also in another.
Interesting, especially in response to like the 39, right? So the gate 55 links up with 39, which is this root pressure that's just like pokey. It's
Mhm.
pokey. I have gate 55. It's in my moon, and like I got feelings about gate 39 because it's just poking at you, and it's very weird and uncomfortable. And so, I don't know, keeping that in mind, there's like 39 adrenalized pressure to poke at you, and the 55 is like on the receiving end of that, in that like hope and pain, and like how am I dealing with this pokiness that's coming at me, and being able to come to an awareness or an understanding that, abundance as a question of spirit, of like things are going to poke you, and it's in this purpose, or in the high expression or high provocation would be to provoke you into a higher level of awareness of spirit and abundance.
This is the yes, and to just cap that off, this is the gate that invented this deep feeling inside, and we know it. In fact, it drives most people to tears. This particular feeling, everyone knows somewhere along the way that this feeling of I'm so abundant, my cup runneth over.
Mhm.
It's just it's a blissful, joyous state, but you don't get to stay there. Water is fluid. Water over mountains flow, and water under the thunder is agitated. So I don't know what all that really means. I'm quoting what you're probably going to say in the next couple slides, but it's it's a potent energy that doesn't know if it feels full. And by the way, one of the worst things is when no one's there to poke at it.
Uh,
Yes, it's then
oh
there's
man,
this
that like gets me. That like just got me in my heart, Danny.
yeah,
Wow.
right.
Yeah. Of
So it's
literally
lack
like the lack of an abundance of people. Like it's literally, it's
Mhm.
like that
Of
lack
the spirit.
of the spirit, and
Just
how,
like
oh,
8
right.
must be contributed, just like in this, the spirit must empower something. Someone poke at me, please. So I can hit you back
Know that
and be
I'm
fickle.
alive.
Right, and know that and so I can get my fickle back, which helps me align with what's gonna be the fullest thing, and start to recognize when I get to stop being fickle, because the provocateur on the other end, I finally accepted them. And that becomes a big piece of the abundance, is the acceptance of the provocateur on the other side. You know, abundant, now my cup is full enough. Three
Yeah.
quarters.
I'm
That's a
just
good
happy.
day.
I'm just happy there's a cup. I'm
Yeah.
just happy I have a cup to be filled.
Yes. Yeah, that's the way. That's the spirit, Moni.
All right, perfect. So next up, we have the Earth in Gate 59, which is dispersion, or the gate of sexuality. This is the ability to break down barriers to achieve union. Gate 59 is a sacral gate, part of tribal circuitry. Tribal, think support as a keynote, and it's part of the defense circuit specifically. And gate 59 links up with Gate 6, which is friction, and the 59-6 make up the channel of mating. Gate 59 generates genetic strategies for sexual bonding and creating new life. It's an aura breaker, defining the ways we penetrate or break through barriers to intimacy to create offspring or enter into a creative business venture with someone. This is warm tribal intimacy. It's touch, taste, and smell.
This is it starts up it's the energy that generates what becomes the emotional wave. This
Mm,
it's our emotional wave. That's dude, the planet is so interested in hooking up with the love of my life. That is, if someone, that's a big thing. It's about
yeah,
as big as
that's
it
pretty
gets.
much
It's
everyone's
pretty
number
much the
one,
thing. That's the thing. That's the
finding your
nirvana
person.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the money note, at the end of the song, everyone stands up and gives the ovation for. That literally, that's what that is. And so this empowers that. This literally generates it, but it itself is not it. 59 has nothing to do with it. All it knows is there's an intimacy here. There's a mating here. There's sexuality here. There's closeness and or breaking through the aura of the other. And because it's not aware, it's just generated. That makes it so powerful. Gate 59 is called the aura breaker. It breaks through the aura of the other, even almost when it's closed. Even in manifestors, it at least breaks through enough to open the manifestor up to at least take enough of a minute to decide if it's going to move back along or not. And it can get tricky to the person who has it, because all of the smell, taste, and touch, you don't know what that means at first. have no idea what that really means. And in your whole life as a holistic being, it might not be what you thought. Just because you can break down the aura doesn't mean you're really supposed to be there at all. Sometimes you're supposed to
Mhm.
not be there. But 55 has this abundance and it's fickle and it doesn't want to necessarily go yet because it's sitting there. I broke through. Maybe it'll fill my spirit. Where does the spirit gets filled? So metaphorically is it the 39, like literally, that the metaphor to the 39 is someone else, some type of bonding. It says individual uniqueness is meant to bond ultimately and find that love. This is the opposition of finding the love of your life and generating its emotional wave into existence. That's why this one's so big. It's I don't know how to follow that up what I just said, but that's amazing. That's what this thing's doing.
Yeah, that was amazing. Great job, Danny.
Thank you.
I love it. I just like, here, let's write some fun stuff down about a gate and see what Danny magic comes out
See
of
what
them.
Danny and Moni come up with. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
exactly. All right. Moving on to our incarnation crosses for the week. First up, we have the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix, which adds in gates 34 and 20. These are people busy seeking access to spirit through love and bonding, who in this quest experience transformation, death, and rebirth. Then we move into the juxtaposition cross of moods, which adds the 9 and 16. These are people who, out of a need for depth and to know truth, are fixed in their moods and have great creative potential. These are creative teachers. And finally, we'll move into the left angle cross of spirit, also the 916. And these are people who seek and find both spirit and great pleasure in life through creativity, good food, and sexual companionship.
It really is. It's we humans were meant to hook up. It's perfect for us.
Yep.
And let's face it, we do.
It's
There's
in the wiring, like
it's in the
genetic
wiring and
imperative.
we do. And
Make more
it's
of yourself.
and it's the only way to really get together and make more.
Mhm.
And it says the making more, which normally would be tribal business, practical, and there's a deal in there, right? And there's support no matter what in there, is still a matter of spirit. And think of what the Native Americans, the Indians, like back in the day, they named their children these spirit things, and they had all the spirit name for stuff. Lots of cultures have done that. It's in these, it's in this gate of spirit that we find all that stuff. That we paint the horse on the wall 30,000 years ago to mean something, and it was bigger than us, by the way. What's much bigger, and that all comes out of the spirit. And this whole cross structure says the sleeping phoenix. I find it funny that 34 and 20 is says, hey, we're busy making this bonding process happen, period. I'm busy bonding. That's what the phoenix is doing. More proof that humanity is meant to get together. And then this fixed moods, that's a little you better read into what this stable pattern is that's here, are fixed in their moods. They're fixed in their mood swing the way it works. Their fickleness is going to be extra sharp in one particular way. The provocateur's got a little harder job meeting up with this person's fixedness in their moods. It teaches us, for all the fourth line juxtapositions that are coming in, these 4 ones that are here, they're slowly but surely teaching us, you better get it right with me, or you can't have me. Or if you do have me, it'll be up and down, and we won't know, and the bounty won't be there. And when you finally get to spirit, this feels like a final expression of skills and talents of humanity. That's what this feels like, and that's what it's always felt like to me. It can't be measured except by the person who has the cross or the individual being asked whether or not they have any of this in their body graph. Spirit is, I invite everyone here to make up their own definition for spirit, make it a lofty one, make it feel good, and let it have characteristics that feel like they're focused and concentrated and enthusiastic at getting it right and sharing the crap out of all of it. Think about it. This part of the cross guarantees sharing. Before didn't. It guaranteed exactly not sharing. 2430 has nothing to do with sharing. It might share by accident. Actually, it always does, but 9 and the 16 guarantee it. And it guarantees it's a type of enthusiasm that's well past the need to just burst bubbles and is willing to just sort of innocently be almost delusional about certain things. And that's okay. Provoke the right spirit.
Oh, all right. Good stuff. And finally, we have our hexagrams for the week. We have the sun in gate 55, which is abundance, and it's thunder over fire. And in my book, my I Ching book, it reads, thunder and lightning culminate as one, abundance. A noble one decides legal proceedings and brings about punishment. Thunder and lightning come together. The storm is directly overhead. It is time for inner clarity to become action, to take the decision and accept the consequences.
I got something to say about that, Moni.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah. I don't even need the book on that one. This whole fire and the storm right above, it's always there. And so that clarity is a narrow window, right? The storm's overhead. So you better get it just particularly right. Hence fickle, 55. Hence needs the right provocation. Hence wishes to empower the right thing. Because when you get it right, this abundance suddenly clears out its little niche inside the storm overhead and everything's great. No more storm, or at least doesn't matter to me, type thing. And that's what that was just saying.
Oh, okay, cool.
These gates are really pulling. These two are, I like these two.
Oh, yay, good. Next up, we have the Earth in gate 59, which is dispersion, and it's wind over water. And the image reads, wind moving over the waters, dispersing. The ancient kings made offerings to the highest and founded temples. Wind moving above the stream stirs and disperses it as water vapor, reminiscent of the fragrant steam that rises from the offerings and nourishes the spirits. This is the real substance of things, the inner flow of committed offering, the message and influence spreading outward. What is established with offerings will endure, while what is built of rock crumbles away. What are you building on?
It says romance is wind and water. Whatever wind and water meant to me before, now they mean a type of bonding. That's what they mean to me because, again, the bonding that's required throughout this whole cross, all 6 days, is really what ends up filling the bonds, fill the spirit. And I like wind over water. I don't know why, but it feels right.
It feels natural.
It feels just natural. Let wind over water be the bonding and the sort of getting together, the dispersion. It's in the name, dispersion.
Yeah. And it's like wind is like gentleness is like part of like diving into the trigrams. Wind is this gentleness and this like subtle yet far reaching influence. And then over that, like the water is like, it's the abyss, it's the depth, it's the deep of the deep, which is also, I mean, with mating.
This water I picture as warm. I picture it as
As dispersing, yeah.
Yeah, warmth and dispersed. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fascinating stuff.
What's going to happen? Let's fortune tellers. No, we can't.
We're not fortune tellers. We're just witnessing the movie with a little bit of an outline.
Yeah, a little bit of youthful folly, coming up with formulas that we could look at.
There you go. So tying it together this week for our audience, 59 or 55 is in the sun and 59 is in the earth. So what can they expect?
I say we expect fickleness inside of spirit. And so now's the time, if you didn't put your foot down on something before, you'll finally recognize this thing lets us know what needs to fit in a narrow window. No, I'm not accepting all of these things. I'm narrower than that, or however that would play out in your life, right now. But to me, it's a way of narrowing in. I've met 55s before, and if you don't fit right into this little zone, then friends forever maybe, but that's it, type thing. Acquaintances, the actual to break through. Think about 55 ordains the spirit of the bonding, and the bonding empowers and ordains the sacral sustainment and breaking through the barriers so that the spirit can get there. I can't repeat what I just said, but just take it apart in your own head what I just said, and
Rewind.
that's what's happening here. So to me, it just seems potent and rich, and whereby you're going to narrow down things because fickleness is away. And at the same time, you're going to feel like this dispersive energy that wants to pour it out into the world. This is going to be challenging for some people. I bet a lot of babies get made this week. I'll bet you anything. This is a big week for baby making. I'll bet you anything. It's either a giant week or it's a super low week. It's somewhere on either end of this. Now that I think of it, the
Because
world
the
might be
50,
fickle that week, you know?
oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So just for some context, so 59 and 6, right? So 59 is this gate of like sexuality, dispersion, and like
Mhm.
bonding and mating and making more people. But with the 55 as that polarity with that's the sun, then there's that fickleness of spirit, right? Part of 55 is like waking up on the good or the bad side of the bed,
Mhm.
right? It's
Yeah,
like you're in a good mood, you're in a bad mood. So that's kind of interesting. So what Danny's saying is there's either going to be like a lot of babies made and a lot of that kind of connecting, or the absolute flip of just like not in the spirit, not in that place of it. Interesting.
right. And the dispersion happens for conception. So when I say it's the conceptions that'll happen this week, you
Hmm.
know. Yeah. So look out for that. And by the way, if it's your time, you've been trying to have a baby, try to have one this week, period. As far as fertility
The
advice
energy
you
would
go,
be in your favor as a
I would
completely
say,
not medical, advice or disclaimer or anything like that.
of course, yeah. No, it's beautiful. What else would happen? I mean, what happens as the spirit moves through this particular week inside of this beautiful planet of ours with 8 billion people on it? I mean, that's a good note. That's a worthy question. You know,
Yeah.
what happens to that? I don't know, but please let us know what you see because
Yeah, always.
something always happens during this time. The phoenix rises here, very much so.
That's very interesting to talk about the sleeping phoenix as an incarnation cross. My boyfriend has this, so I've learned to observe it, and it's very interesting because it really is like a phoenix, right? Like the phoenix that like looks all beautiful, and then it like gets a little rough, and then it like burns up and like dies and reborn. That's the phoenix, and
Right.
yeah, I always think of like the second Harry Potter where Harry goes into Dumbledore's office and he like stumbles in on the Phoenix like just as it like bursts into flames and Dumbledore's like, oh, shame you had to see him on a burn day. Um, and they yeah, and they do, like I see this with my boyfriend, like he goes through these cycles where it's like sometimes just like everything is like weird and like blah, and it's just like, oh, you're getting close to a burn day, you're right about there. And so there is this
Wow.
aspect, yeah, where it's just like things get weird and he's going through a weird time, and just like ride it out because eventually like that phoenix will like burst into flames and
My
then like
youngest
be
daughter,
reborn in that.
my youngest daughter is a 2/5 August Phoenix.
Mm,
Yep.
yeah.
And that, she was always into that. That was happening
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
And
Yep.
like part of it, like with what I see with him at least, is like he brings new life. Like like it's almost like he breathes new life into things that are like dying away. Like he definitely did it with me, and like when he found me and like my health issues at the time, which are now doing great. That he brought me back to life. He did this with like other groups and people, and the people he like does work with and everything. It's like he can take something that is just about to like fall to nothingness and like help restore it and like bring that. So I think the sleeping phoenix, that's like really big part of it, is just like it can bring the life back into people and situations and groups.
It's just really powerful. That Phoenix Rising is a powerful story in our history and in folklore and in mythology for a reason. Its rising is it's unstoppable as it starts is part of the thing. So what does that turn into humanity? I don't know, but something riseth out of the earth for us this week, and I don't know what that is. But you'll know,
Mhm,
watch it.
mhm. Yeah, and if things get rough, sometimes they do, like just roll with it, it'll be okay, it'll pass, and like the 55
You were
also is good.
Yeah, you were just fickle. That's all. Don't
Yeah,
sweat
and
it.
it just yeah, and it kind of happens. And also like 55 also relates to food and like abundance issues and like that kind of stuff, eating too much, eating not enough. Like I know I could definitely like I feel like, oh, I'm missing sweetness in my life, and then I'm like eating too much sugar. So, be
Mhm.
aware of that too, that like that might also be influencing you, and maybe how we can, make healthier choices with our food. So, maybe I'll have some strawberries instead of like some cookies kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Just being aware that these things can kind of come up and you might have some feelings, and same with the people around you, like have grace as much as you can, or separate yourself, or people in your house, everyone might be having these like fickleness and these feelings, and they might be feeling poked at or something, and just be gentle and know that like the phoenix will rise again from the ashes.
The phoenix rises again. And just like last week, no decisions in the now necessarily. If you're a little bit anxious about a decision, good, don't make it. Yeah, definitely. If you're a little bit anxious about it, don't make it yet. You'll collect new data during this very charged, sustaining, dispersive, penetrating, emotional 6.5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as always, follow your strategy and authority. That's always going to be like the go-to line because it's a good line. You're going to be feeling energies coming up, and sometimes you can have fun and you can play with them, but also know you might end up with an energetic hangover, and know how to play with them and listen to your strategy and authority so you don't end up doing regrettable things or long-term consequences, or you'll, mess around and find out and play with that. But be
The
careful.
spirit will spot the shadows. Don't you worry. The spirit is like a flashlight. It will spot the shadows if you let it. Follow your strategy and authority, please.
You said it so much nicer than me.
Aw.
Well, thank you, Danny, and thank you to our wonderful viewers. Thank you for liking and commenting and sharing and subscribing. It really, really, really helps us. It's been really fun. Oh, every time I get like positive comments, I like send them to the entire group. It's
Oh, yeah, we need to
delightful.
see that and share it with everyone. Let's grow this channel. We deserve to be out there, and you do too with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And it really means a lot when you guys engage with us. It makes us really happy, put a lot of love into it. So thanks for hanging out, and we will catch you next week.
Enjoy the week. Good day.